Welcome to Pillow Talk, where real and intimate conversations take place. I am your girl, Kay Carter here, and today we will be discussing it's the YONI for me. We want to talk about and educate everyone from male and female about the YONI, and that's the vajayjay, the nana. It ain't ill, it's just real. You feel me? All right, so I'm gonna have everyone that's on today that's ready to discuss these yonis to introduce themselves. And we'll start off with Charmaine.
Hi, everyone. My name is Charmaine Denise, and currently I work as a spiritual life coach and meditation instructor. And you can find me on Instagram, charmaine.denise. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. And then we'll go down to Sheets.
My name is Marcus Sheets. I'm a teacher and a coach, and I'm also owner of Feel Good Organic CBD company.
Brother.
Yo, how's it going? Roselle Carter, aka the popcorn celebrity. You know, that's my IG tag. You can find me there all day. And shoot, I'm just here for the good entertainment. So let's get it.
Yeah. My sis, Tiffany.
Yes, I'm Tiffany Turner Dukes. I'm a music producer and jewelry designer, and I'm here to speak from my own experience about some female issues that I can holistically help with.
Yes. Last but not least, Gabby.
Hi guys, it's me again. I'm Gabrielle at Gabra Muffinita, and I'm just here excited to talk about this topic that I've had so many discussions with Kenesha about, a really important topic that I'm happy to be a part of.
Yes. Okay, so we all here for the vajayjay. Okay. The discussion is about to go up. So y'all, I just really wanted to tell y'all, this is a topic I think so many people tend to be scared, a little timid to talk about. The stigma, like don't talk about your vaginal health out loud. Usually we have our little secret meetings with friends, but it really stops there. Sometimes people are very uncomfortable talking about it with even their own doctors. Legs up in the stirrups and everything, and you still feeling embarrassed. And I want to create the conversation where people are comfortable to talk about something that's just so normal. You understand?
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and shoot a question over to my girl, my cousin, Charmaine. She's definitely been around in the medical field. And the first question that I have for you is, can a woman go see an OBGYN during her cycle?
Yes, she can. So I just want to preface this. I am not a medical doctor. So I just want to preface that, y'all. But I have worked in the medical field for 6 years, and OBGYN being one of them. Are we talking about specifically for like a pap smear? Or are you talking
for
about
a pap? Let's talk specifically for a pap smear.
Yeah, so you can still go in and still see your OBGYN and have a pap smear done. They recommend that you don't, not on the heavy flow days, because it can affect and skew the test results. So if you're like you're light spotting or anything like that, absolutely you can still go in. They can still get a sample from the cervix and still send that off, no problem. But of course, if your actual issue is ongoing bleeding or things of that nature, obviously you definitely want to go in and still see your provider, because there might be some underlying issues for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad you said that, because there are some people that says, I've been on my cycle for 2 weeks now. It's been the month, and now it's like trying to figure out what's wrong. So I think
that's not a normal cycle. So definitely not for 2 weeks in a month. Yeah,
for sure, sis. I need you to get to the OBGYN immediately. Okay. All right. So another question, just randomly through discussion, I think women, we think about the vulva area and the shape and all these good things. What should a normal, if there's a normal vulva, look like? Hold on. Y'all don't know. Okay, vulva. Or because you want to tell them. You want to go ahead, because I'll let you school.
No, you're good. You're good. So I always shy away from like normal appearing genitalia. So that I don't like to say a normal looking vulva because we all come in different shapes and sizes and colors and all of that. So there definitely isn't a normal size, but if there's something that, I mean, as a woman, you grow up, you develop, you kind of know what looks normal, feels normal for you. So, you know, if things are a bit askew or a little bit off, that's another sign maybe you might want to go talk to a professional. But there's no necessarily normal shape, normal looking, normal color.
Yes. So I'm glad you said that, because that was a tricky question. But everyone has their own set of normal. We have skinny, small, thin, short, like, I mean, whatever it is, like you said, pink, brown, I don't know.
Yeah. There's no one size fits all. There's no one size fits all.
Yeah. What?
I think there's like probably like 15 and 20 different variants, you know what I'm saying, of vulvas or pussies or vaginas. Then you know, they got charts for it too, you know what I mean? So that's just not all based off of my own experience, but like there is a lot of different looks, you know what I mean? You know, we got the innies, the outies, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, while we're on the vagina and it looks, so brother, which type of any outie, what do you prefer?
What do I go for?
Yeah.
First, I like the person I'm with, you know, for the most part, you know, if you're in a relationship, but you just try to, you know, go with the flow. But if I had to typically choose, I kind of go for the innie, like the kind of little more tucked in, you know what I mean? Not that hello, you know what I mean? They be looking kind of there, you know. You can't hide. The other one just look. I want to say look cuter, but shit, you know, like predators coming out to like haunt you. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess so. The innies is cute to you. Okay,
I like them all. I like them all, but the innie ones, like I seen some ugly innies too, but typically the innies, they just a little bit more cute. They're not so dramatic. Yeah, there we go. Not dramatic. They're not like.
I totally get that. Let's also remember, you know, a lot of things happen with the vagina, especially if you've given birth. So, you know, some things just don't snap back as quickly as maybe it once did. So, but I understand. So having that outer labia, you know, overlapping the inner labia.
One more thing, I'll let y'all go. But so then the outer ones, the outer vaginas, but they do look really nice, like during sex when they're opened up and like flowering and blooming. Like the bloom is, the bloom is nice.
Yes to the flower, brother. We love the mental pictures that you're putting in our minds. The flower, yes.
Flower, yes. The bloom. The bloom.
That makes all the sense. But while we're on the topic, and everyone, we can all chime in on this, majority of the women, is while we're on the topic of vulva, I wanted to talk about yeast infections, right? So one of the first symptoms for women that experience yeast infections is that outer vulva area gets a little itchy. Now, if you're feeling like you want to get a brush and start scratching and rubbing it around, that's most likely a yeast infection. I'm not trying to be extreme, y'all, but if you start feeling like you're trying to slide off the edge of your seat and do some wiggling, you might want to go get some, eat some more yogurt, get some, what is it? Diflucan?
Monostat. Are you talking about, you're talking about the crap, talking about the cream.
Right. You might need to get some monostat and, you know, rub it in real good. And, you know, get the little suppositories, the insert, or if you go to your doctor and actually get diflucan, I believe it is, right?
Yeah. Sure.
Any ladies, have y'all experienced any natural ways to cure yeast infections?
I have not. I'll speak to that. I have not, but I've also never had a yeast infection. So.
Okay. Oh, lucky you.
I don't really get them that often, and if I, so I can't really speak too much to yeast infections. I would, but that's not one of the things that has been like an ongoing issue for me. So I don't want to speak on it.
Okay, Tiffany.
Ma'am, I do not have any holistic facts for a yeast infection. No, the most natural thing I've ever heard of was, well, yeah, tea tree oil, but you know that shit might burn. Like that doesn't even sound
Right.
like tea
I'm
tree. Like,
sorry.
no,
That is
because it's an anti, so
yeah.
then you got inflammation, you got all this stuff going on, and it's just like it seems like that would be like chapstick to the situation, but
Right.
no, sounds like a disaster also. So
Yes. Well,
yeah,
A
definitely
preventative thing I can speak on is
Mhm.
cutting back on the sugar. And this is just
Yes.
something that I know from, speaking to other people is if you notice that you're getting them after you've been consuming sugar and like alcohol, those things tend to exacerbate those types of symptoms or that onset.
and also like beer for sure.
Yeah,
Because
Beer,
then
yeah.
yes, like any like malt beverages as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
for
wine
sure.
coolers and stuff like that.
yeasty stuff. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeast infections only come from what you eat, or is it other
No.
things?
So I'm
It's natural.
like,
It can come naturally too, but like you got to look at what that is and moisture and things like that. And if you don't really get the air flowing through there, and if your machine isn't really,
oil.
if your machine breaks
So
down, you understand? It's like if it gets imbalanced or if there's too much of something happening, then that's when it creates the yeast. When it's
So
too
for
much.
women, there's so many different causes. It's going to be diet. I'm an athlete. I work out all the time. So if there's a lot of sweat, wet clothes,
Yo, I heard
stay in that
cyclers.
area.
I heard those, the people that work out, do those cycling classes.
Yes.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
Yes.
major.
I'm not
Wait,
doing
hold
all the cycling, the up down on the
No,
basketball.
I don't know about the Peloton crew. I don't know about people that are into that right now, but it's like, man, like, okay, if it's working, it's working, but no, I'm good.
like we just said,
Well,
the wet, the wetness, the dampness, you know what I mean? All those play a heavy factor on it. I would say just make sure you're changing your panties, you know what I mean? Like not a
well,
dirty, not in a dirty way, but if you having moisture and you having wetness down there, you know what I mean? You keep it on or you let it, soak up and sit there, then obviously that creates an issue. That's like with men with our balls too, you know what I mean? It's the same thing.
yeah.
Like it's just too
Breathable
much
underwear.
moisture, you know?
But there's
Huh?
okay, so then there's different things like women that we go to the beach and then we're going swimming.
Yeah.
We're all these different things, and you probably
You
have
got
these clothes
bathing.
that can cause it. Women that wear extremely tight panties or pants or shorts, and now you can say they camel hoofs. Y'all know what them camel toes be like, baby, let that thing breathe, okay? So those sorts of things also cause yeast infections. There's some women out there that are allergic to latex. So if they do encounter their partner with a latex condom, guess what? Sure enough, in 2 days, baby is like, what's happening? My little vulva is having some things. And it's not even just the vulva. And then it's now paying attention to the discharge that's coming out of your body. If it's cottage cheese consistency. Now, the first couple of days that most women get yeast infection, you probably won't have the smell, but the longer it's there, you will start having it might be like a pungy smell. And it just graduates in the consistency and the smells if you don't take care of it. So these are things for women to actually pay attention to, and also men to understand. It's not who you been humping, now you got a yeast infection, and that's not the cause. So, and that's a misconception about that area. Anyone wants to add anything about the yeast babies?
The yeast babies.
Okay.
Nah.
Okay, so why we're actually on discharge, right? So, Charmaine, I have a question for you about you have some women that say, hey, I get a lot of discharge. It's nothing wrong. I don't have a yeast infection. I'm not having an infection. Or there's women that does not get a lot of discharge. But can you speak for the women that feel like if they get a lot of discharge, that's abnormal?
So discharge is normal. So one, it's important to pay attention to the color of it, just like you had mentioned earlier, because that could point to signs of infection. So that's cottage cheese, like consistency, if it's yellow or green, and especially if there's an odor, that's typically a sign that something is amiss. But I know, actually just read this, I want to say maybe 1 to 4 milliliters of discharge is normal. So like kind of covering like a panty liner, like that's normal. And especially leading up to your menstruation, you might notice a little bit more discharge than normal because your body's preparing to shed itself. So that's normal, but definitely pay attention to the color and the consistency, because those are telltale signs that something is amiss. But clear, even sometimes stretchy, just depending, that's typically normal.
Okay.
Normal
I have a question. Should more should most females use panty liners? Is that like actually a good thing, or is that just a preference?
I will let one of the other ladies chime in on that too.
I don't wear underwear. I haven't worn underwear in a very long time. I think it just depends on what you feel comfortable being in. Like, to me, I would prefer not to have, if I was wearing underwear, I would prefer not to have something attached to my underwear touching me. I mean, I know that there are natural and organic, feminine products and stuff out there, but I would just say the less stuff down there, the better. It just depends on what you as a person or as that woman feels day to day, what they feel comfortable just being in. Like, I have a lot of people who tell me like, oh, I could never not wear underwear. Like, I have to wear underwear. I could never go back to wearing underwear. So it just depends on what you feel comfortable being in yourself. I feel completely comfortable being in my jeans with no underwear on. It just works for me and my thighs and my my lady parts. It just fucking works for me. But it may not work for some people. I don't think that anybody should do anything. They should just do what they feel comfortable doing.
Right. Tiffany.
Ma'am. So I feel like it's definitely an individual thing. It's based on, because some women do have, as we spoke about earlier, is discharge, and some women have a natural heavy discharge and they might feel uncomfortable just soaking up their underwear throughout the day. So panty liners might be convenient for them to consistently stay, dry and possibly avoid yeast infections, because that's a lot of moisture happening. So I think it just depends on the woman. I think it just depends on, what your body is saying to do for you. I don't really think there's like a general, because all of us on here probably have something different happening.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Already. So, we out here. we out here. We out here, each one of us. You feel me? Like,
no, that's 100% accurate. We all have different levels of body fluids that's happening. So someone might be more comfortable wearing liners and some not. I suggest do the scented joints. Anything less the scented. Scented.
Now, speaking of scents though, like, I'm a unscented, I can't detergents. I'm a bubble girl. Like, I'm allergic to everything. Fish, seafood, anything too much perfume, too much fragrance, it becomes an issue, like basically a rash or issue. So anywhere on my body. So it's like everybody can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody can't do scented.
Right.
That would be me.
Don't buy me no Bath and Body Works unless it's just gonna be lotion, because all them scents is not going on the the YONI.
Okay. Right.
Hey, but I want to speak out for just like the fellas, just not every last one of them, but I would say this is back to the panty liners debate or issue. I think it's better to not saying you have to use them. Every girl has to use them, but if you are discharging or if you have things that's going on in your panties, I think it'll be personally better to have a panty liner on and throwing it away versus me doing laundry and seeing, you know what I mean, a streak or different color. I'm just saying. Like,
so, brother, the question is, oh, you doing laundry, huh?
Oh, shit. No snail track, huh? Okay.
Wow.
Not the snail tracks.
Okay.
But that's why we here having this conversation so that we can normalize the things that happen with women.
Yes.
Women have discharge. Discharge goes somewhere.
Normal.
Women wear underwear. Like, just because you feel uncomfortable with it don't mean it's gonna go away or there's something wrong with it. Like, that's women. That's 50% of the world. You gotta just let go of what you think it should be and just understand what it is. Like, that's just what it is. Like, it comes out of us. You can little dick in that.
But you can't even like
But
their draws is like way more nasty though. So like look at what comes out of y'all draws. Like, let's be honest. Like, let's not do this. Because y'all laundry.
I'm gonna need you to put
I gotta stop right there. Because my drawers are very clean. I don't know about no other man drawers.
And that goes back to when we were saying how people are individuals, you know, so like there's a vast majority where they don't have that. There's some people don't have the unfair advantage of just having that natural cleanliness that you have demonstrated thus far. That's great. But some are not out there like that.
Yeah.
I know.
And some men love sniffing women's drawers and they love the discharge and they love the smell.
Listen.
Some women like it. Different strokes, you know?
That is so a thing. Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Listen. I don't want to catch nobody sniffing those denuntas. You hear me?
So is discharge the same secretion that comes out during sex, or is it like a gland that stops and starts back, or like?
Well, the word discharge just means something that's coming out. So there's different types of discharges, but the actual discharge, I guess you got to specify. There would need to be a specificity in what type of discharge we're talking about.
That has healthy discharge.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's a multitude of things, because our vagina is constantly, it's a self-regulating, self-cleaning organ, you know? So yeah, right. So it's constantly flushing stuff out that doesn't need to be there, you know? So it can be anything from like, even like some cervical tissue and stuff like that. It can be any number of things. And like I said, also, you typically get a discharge a couple days even before your cycle. So it's like preparing to ovulate and then to secrete that. So it is different. That fluid is a bit different. And that's why you got to pay attention to the consistency, right? So because anything that is a bit thicker than it should be, or darker or smelled, like that's not normal. It's probably bacteria or some sort of.
I'll actually answer Sheet's question. So the question, you want to know if the discharge, if there's a healthy discharge, okay, that's cool, that's normal. If you're intimate with a woman and now she's coming, sort of thing, the wetness, yes, it's the same. Now we're just specifying.
Wait. This always trips me up. You say she's coming. What does that mean? Are you saying she's climaxing and orgasming, or she's squirting? Because those are two different things. They happen. They can happen at the same time, and they can happen at two different times.
Or she may not even be specific. That's lubrication.
Let's talk.
Right. Okay. Let's talk about the lubrication. Okay.
So coming is not orgasming. Have I been tripping about what that word means?
Okay, so we don't have to go that far left, y'all. Okay, the same secretion that's happening during intimacy while you're having sex. If it's as long as she's healthy, yes, it's the same. So you should not be alarmed if she say, "Yeah, I'm just having some discharge." Now, if the discharge, we're just saying if there's a different smell or a different kind of consistency, then that's the problem. Discharge is normal, natural. So
I was trying orgasm and non-orgasm shit. She kind of had me going on that one.
Yeah, I know.
But
that's a different discussion.
Sorry.
That's a different discussion.
I talked to a lot of people about that, but on to the next one.
Okay, so because I don't want to derail.
Yeah, we're gonna
progress that we're trucking along. Okay, so now I want to go into another issue that women experience, and that's bacteria infection. So that's bacteria vaginosis. And what are some of those symptoms? What does that look like? What does it smell like? And how can we cure naturally or through medication and so on and so forth? Gabby, you want to go ahead and start us off with the bacteria infection talk?
Sure, I'll do that.
I know you love it.
So bacterial vaginosis, it blows my mind because it is such a common thing. And I hear that, I don't know if this is true or not, but I hear that it's especially common among, Black women. I don't know if that's true to say that it's like more common among us, but I know that it is something that me and most of the women in my life, is something that they struggle with. It's something that they're curious about. And the fact that that is just like such a huge thing that causes such an insecurity in women, just such issues and things like that. And there's because I've done my little research or whatever on it, and there's so little information out there on something that affects so much of the population. And it kind of makes me a little mad because it made me think, like, if this was like a man issue, like a very obvious man issue where men were like dealing with something that made them feel insecure about sex, about being intimate, that issue, man, yes. Yeah. And it would have been solved. You would be able to go to a vending machine and get solutions for it. Like it would be solutions on Amazon that you could get in 2 hours, delivered immediately. It just blows my mind,
That goes into what I said earlier, that we are more quiet. We try to figure it out on our own. We might talk to a friend like, hey, what do you do to fix this problem? We're not creating a platform or being verbal about some of the things that we do experience. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So, I was about to say, like, I know I definitely, like, I didn't know what is it BV or VB?
Yeah, BV.
VV?
B as in boy, V as in Victor.
Oh, see, I always was saying it wrong. I was saying VB, BV, but yeah, that vaginosis bacteria, I know exactly. I had a run in with that before. And I remember I just thought I was like tripping. And I'm like, damn. Like, I'm like,
wait, hold on, back it up. You had a run in? What do you mean? Tell us more.
No, like, hey, so it was like, it was like one of them things, because like sometimes you get natural odors, you know what I mean? Right. From what people cook and what they, digest all the time, you could have, different people with different odors. Some don't smell like anything. Some actually have a heavier natural smell. But in this particular scenario, it wasn't like right away, but after a couple little good ones, I'm like,
Good what? Some good strokes, brother.
Okay, I'll finish, but still.
Tell us what happened.
Hey,
I want to hear this too, though.
I'm already here, but I'm just like sitting there and I'm kind of like tripping. I'm like, fuck, is it like, like do you smell it too? Like, but that came into the shyness of her, you know what I mean? And I'm not an asshole, so I don't want to be mean, but I'm kind of like, nigga, what are we doing? But I don't want to make her feel bad, honestly. So I didn't really say nothing about it in that particular sense. But yeah, I ended up passing it, long story short. And I didn't know it was passable, but yes, I did. And I'll admit that as a flaw, that probably other people want to. But yeah.
So you passed the bacteria infection to someone else.
Right.
Okay. And so while we're here, Sheets, have you ever experience being intimate and you did not like the woman's smell?
Okay, so I do have a story similar, but it wasn't like that. I smelled something, and honestly, it smelled like a bag of nickels, like change. And I looked down, and it was looked like a horror film, and I was
It was
distraught.
what?
It looked like a horror film.
What? Tell us what was it? Blood? Like what was
Yeah,
smelling?
it was purplish, blood, reddish. I don't know, but I panicked. And
Wait, is this look? Because now I'm like, I'm going to dissect it. So was this before you entered, or
no, I'm entering, and I'm entering.
oh,
And
that to me that sounds, and somebody else might you know let me know what you think. Probably the last days of recycle.
Yeah.
It sounds like, and also if you ever pee, us as women, I don't know for guys, if it smells like wet pennies, most likely you might have a urinary tract infection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a UTI can cause that smell as well. So anybody want to chime in on that one?
I'm trying to finish his story.
Go
I
ahead.
want to know what happened.
man,
So okay, now how did you handle the situation now?
I was like, ooh, hey, you okay? And she was like, huh? What do you mean? And I was like, it's a lot going on down here. And she was like, oh my God, she was embarrassed, but I didn't want to make her feel bad. It was just like, it caught me off guard. I never seen those colors together. It was like the white creamy, but it was some purple, reddish. I don't know.
That
It
sounds
was
like
too much for me.
that sounds I've had a miscarriage before and it looked similar to that. That's all but that's because I've experienced that. I can say that. Um I hope that wasn't that, but then actually I hope it was and not nothing else, because that's kind of scary.
Yeah.
That sounds really scary.
I'm just
Yeah,
glad I had a condom on.
the purple.
Yeah,
I've never heard of purple, and I've never seen it myself. Never even heard of purple before. So yeah, that sounds like something
that's like
was
black
going on.
clots.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now I'm like, hold on, let me.
Well, another thing, I want to bring awareness to something.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have heard of cysts or ovarian cysts.
Yes.
I once had polycystic ovarian syndrome, and my ovaries would just mass produce cysts, and they would pass through, but I would have really bad, heavy menstrual cycles, to the point where I almost like had no life, because I would just have breakthrough bleeding spells out of nowhere. And I just wasn't comfortable being intimate because I didn't know when it was going to happen, and I didn't want to be embarrassed, until I understood what was happening with my body and how to control it. And what that was I had a hormone imbalance due to an imbalanced thyroid. So my hormones was whacked out, and I was producing a lot of cysts, too much estrogen. So I had to get put on a birth control to not produce so much. Then all that stopped. Then all of it got quiet. And then I didn't have all these cysty problems. But the cysty problems, when they pass through your body, it sounds a lot like what he's saying and describing also.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sis, for actually adding that, because I was going to touch on ovarian cysts in our conversation. So thank you for sharing.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So as the guys, you shared your experiences through smells and colors and all this, that type thing. So with bacteria infection, so it's it, like Gabby said earlier, that a lot of women deal with this, and there's a lot of different things. So again, kind of like similar to yeast infections, you're not going to probably feel any itching. You'll notice probably thicker discharge and smell. And if you are being intimate during intercourse, that you might have some, it might be uncomfortable. You might feel some pain. with
There's
if
also slight pelvic discomfort and very like
Mhm.
slight, slight crampiness in the feelings and stuff.
right.
The uterus area.
Carmen, did you want to add anything for bacterial infections?
No, I mean, you pretty much covered it. It's, the pH balance is off in the vagina, and that can be caused by any plethora of things, actually. And it is very, very common. As Gabby said, I want to say at least like 50% of women at some point have, is diagnosed with BV at some point. And even in some of our cleansers, like that's why they, you never recommend douching or anything like
Yes.
that. Your vagina is naturally cleansing itself. So any type of aromatic soaps or scrubs or anything like that can easily irritate the vagina
And throw off the pH.
Exactly. So
Yes. So with our vaginas, we have good bacteria that hangs out in there, and it's controlling. I like to think of like a little seesaw, and it's happy in there and it's having a good old time with our natural bacteria. And what happens if their bacteria has an overgrowth when bacteria infection is happening, and now it's knocking off this balance, which is the pH balance. And now you're having all these different symptoms of odor and discharge. Again, if the longer you have it, probably the more potent and pungent the smell would be. And also douching, because douche is going in there and it's taking all my happy people out. And so now those good bacteria are gone. So it's like, hey, what are we doing? And now you are causing your own trauma sort of thing if you are douching. So if you are douching, figure out a solution to fix it and not just cover or mask the issue at hand.
All right, I got one more for the bacteria, and it's might be strong for some of y'all, but hey, I'm just keeping it real. So, also a thing that can mess you up is like if one is fingers, you know what I mean? When people finger you, obviously, depending on the
Yeah, continue.
Freezing.
Continue.
Oh no, I was like, getting fingered is a bad thing. And also if you get, if you do anything that's more like so anally, like the dude mess with your asshole and then play with your pussy right after, or you have anal sex and then have regular sex, you can, I believe you still get a UTI, urinary tract infection, if it enters, you know what I'm saying? If the bacteria enters that way too. So that's another thing that girls would end up,
with bacteria
feeling because, you know what I mean, of something you wouldn't even think of, be like, but it can happen. So that was just one of them things I just wanted to point out because I've had heard about that or whatever. So yeah.
Okay, good. Let's talk about some ways to cure bacteria infections. Anyone want to add something?
The doctor.
A preventative measure is to just be very mindful about what you do immediately after sex. I know it feels very good to just lay there post-coitus and just cuddle, but it's very important to get up, like the doctor said, get up and pee if you can. If you feel comfortable, take a shower. That is something that really, really does help. I know it kind of ruins the moment, or just, let me get you a towel. Sometimes that's not quite enough. Sometimes you need to get up and you need to just go and wash down there and just like clean down there and sit on the toilet and I know for me, like I need to get up and I probably need to take a shower after to be very proactive in being preventative with the BV. And I know that people say don't douche. I don't personally douche, but there was a time where I felt like my vaginal health was the best and I felt the most confident when I had a little product. Basically, it was like a enema, but not but for your vagina. It was a stainless steel. It was a stainless steel thing, and I just put regular water in there, and I just did that every day and every couple of days. Never had any issues. It was just the best thing for me. And I know they say that that's not good, but I have done a lot of I've read a lot of things about that product. I've even heard doctors, recommend using that product. Yeah, and like I said, it's just water. It's not the whatever comes in. I don't even know what liquid comes in a douche, but it's just water. And you're just like, rinsing your vagina with a stainless steel tube, and the water is just going in there and just like rinsing out. Don't know if that's recommended or not, but it did work for me. Right. And then, something me and you've talked about, Kenesha, a lot of women that I know, the boric acid suppositories. That works, I guess, sometimes. I just feel like that is something that kind of masks things. Maybe somebody else can speak to that. The boric acid.
Definitely for prevention, using protection. There are some people out there that like to not. And I know and heard of couples, they've been married, it's been 5 years or 7 years, and now this woman is constantly getting a bacteria infection because what's happening is now you got the seesaw, and now your husband's chemical, his fluids is mixing with yours, and maybe it's throwing it all off balance, and that happens. So there's this product called Honey Pot, which are suppositories that you can insert. I would suggest you insert it right before you're going to bed, just like you would if you have a yeast infection and you're using Monistat or something like that. And they also have, it's called PHP. And it's the same. It's suppositories. It has boric acid in there. They sell these things at Walgreens, CVS, Target, Walmart. You will find it in the feminine section. You just have to look for it. Of course, I'm sure Amazon has it all. But those are some of the products that women can use without constantly, hey, doctor, that you can have at home and feel more comfortable about your vaginal health.
Right. I wanted to chime in on that.
Tiffany.
As far as I'm not really a big person on treating things with topical or any type of gels or creams or things. I'm not really big on that kind of stuff. But me personally, I had a hysterectomy because I ended up having uterine cancer. So they took out, I only have one ovary. They took everything out. I took my cervix too, because that's where it started.
Right.
So when all that comes out though, here's the kicker. You have to change your whole entire diet. What's very important is probiotics.
Yeah.
Like probiotics are like a part of my life now because my cervix is removed. The cervix does a lot.
Yes.
And it really does. That self-cleaning oven, like the cervix does a lot for us. And when it's not there, your body's different, when your hormones are different, you know what I'm saying? Different things don't necessarily happen like they used to, or it's just kind of like, it doesn't function the same because it's not the same. So
what type of probiotic how are you consuming your probiotic, and what type are you using?
A pill form. And yeah, it's called, I'll go grab it. It's called Fem. I think it's called Fem something. But I order it from Sprouts, and I've been on it for about 4 years, and I feel the same. Taking probiotics, taking these probiotics. They told me that some changes were going to happen, and they told me that, do these things or these things will happen over time. And I'm not trying to find that shit out. So I'm just going to keep doing this because the shit's working and I feel amazing. So I'm just going to stay here. I was going to be like, well, let me just see if my body, if I could just eat enough edamame, to, up my estrogen and progesterone, if I could just do this. And I just was like, nah, I'm just gonna take the probiotics because it can balance your gut, your whole entire pH. Like probiotics are like the whole total package. You have a healthy gut, you got a healthy vagina for real. Like that's a real thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, sis, you gonna have to tell us, Lil. We need to all get the this Femi. What is it, Femi?
Let me get it. I'm gonna go get it.
Okay. Why she go get that? Does anyone want to add anything else about the bacteria infections?
Yeah, so I was going to chime in on Tiffany because she mentioned the probiotics, and Obviously, you can also ingest them. So kombucha is a perfect example because they have.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Kombucha, and then like certain yogurts and things of that nature has the fermented bacteria that you need in there to help with that balance. But I was also going to say, because I was going to comment on that finger comment. So,
All right, y'all. This is
as a woman who sleeps with other women, definitely being more proactive as far as safer sex, hand hygiene, and all of that. I mean, it may not sound sexy or anything like that, but that, you know, I care about my woman's health. I care about my health. So I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that we are as safe as possible and we don't throw each other's pH balance off.
Okay, we need all the safe, healthy pH balances. And then, Charmaine, hold that thought because I have one more thing to add to that what you just said. But Tiffany, can we see this probiotic?
Oh, me if I reverse my camera, maybe, huh?
Okay.
Oh.
And you said, where do you get that from?
Sprouts Farmers Market. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, we need to. I'm definitely going to invest in that because I need to.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, women, if we have, because you know, we hold all of our stress in our guts, and if you don't have a healthy gut, then your vagina will be angry. So yeah, we don't need vaginas having attitudes, and you know,
we need the happy yonies over here.
Right.
So back to Charmaine saying, you know, healthy hands, healthy hygiene. And I want to know, what about people's mouths, y'all? Like, you know, dental. And I'm like, your tongue stink. And now I'll, you know what I'm saying?
That's deep.
Yo, if somebody's tongue stink, I feel like that might
if your breath smells like you're fasting.
You need to get them a tongue scraper.
Absolutely. That's mandatory.
Yes. No, I really think, you know, if someone does not have good hygiene in their mouth, dental work is not in, you know, might want to go down there and, you know, explore some things and munch. Hold on, bro, you know, or sis, you know, whatever it may be. I think also not just the hands. Let me check under your nails. Stick your tongue out. Let me look, you know, all those different things.
Just shouldn't do it. They just shouldn't do it. If you have silver fillings, don't do it.
Right. Ooh, never thought about that one. I'm
playing.
I was about to say, dang.
What about the golds? What about somebody with some golds?
She's just kidding. Clean toys too.
Okay, hold on.
Clean your toys.
Clean toys. That's a big one, Gabby. That's a big one. Yeah.
Toys.
I'm like, if you let somebody eat you out with a gold grill in, first off, he's an amateur. Second off, your shit probably might smell like metal afterwards. I'm just saying, like, that's nasty on him, and that would be just disturbing as fuck. It'd probably be more just like, it depends, you know what I mean? Because some dudes who have permanent grills in, you know what I mean? But they can never clean up it. So, you know what I mean? You got to imagine when the saliva is going through their mouth, it still is going to go in those spots and come out into you. I'm just assuming.
Yeah, that sounds like it ain't gonna be a bacteria infection. You're gonna be like, you got that silver plate down there, girl. Like, they gonna call it something else.
Your shit might start shooting out.
Bonus.
Your shit just turned 14.
I'm sorry, but okay. I have two more things, y'all, before we wrap up. But does anybody, guys, do you have any other questions about bacteria infections or?
Okay. This is not my story, but my homeboy, he told me this. It's very important to wear condoms because when he was younger, he told me.
Was it you or him?
It was him. It was him. But he said Yeah, it was him. He said he had like 3 girlfriends. He would sleep with all of them unprotected. And, it might be one Monday, one Wednesday, and one Thursday. And even though none of them had anything, all that bacteria that y'all talked about, he was, I guess, getting that in his body. So he had discharge. So he charged all 3 of them up like, hey, you gave me something, and none of them had anything. It was from him going into all these different girls unprotected. So
I'm glad you definitely brung that up, because that is yes. And that sometimes, so say let's have example. We have a healthy woman with her little seesaw is healthy, y'all. Okay. And then she meets a man.
Johnny Dirty Dick. Let's call him Johnny Dirty Dick.
No, wait, Johnny today. Johnny, okay, we got a Johnny. Ooh, sorry for everybody name out there named Johnny. But Johnny sleep with this young lady, and it was clean this time. And then he meet little Susie. Now Johnny meets Susie, and now he like, I ain't feeling Susie, but he trying to come over here with little mom over here. So Johnny slept with Susie. Now he over here. He's bringing her bacteria, his bacteria, and now all of a sudden, little mama is walking by, and her, I call it ass air, is passing by, and now she's like, "What's wrong? What's going on with my nana?" Her yoni is sick, y'all, because now Dirty Dick Johnny interfered with little mama's vaginal health. That is a thing. And sometimes this is a whole nother topic, but I want to leave this here. This 2 cents, the little nuggets, is sometimes women know that their partner is cheating, because if all of a sudden they've been fine and then now something is happening, they haven't been stepping out. That's how some women are like, you been sleeping with somebody else?
Yeah, that's
Nana is telling them something different, even if she's not going through your phone or that sort of thing. But sometimes that is one of the first indicators for women.
Yeah, that definitely goes both ways too, though, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you are your friend. I'm glad I hope they cleared up. I was just playing. I hope your friend.
I think he's good now. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what would so this is the only thing I'm kind of curious about is what actually prescribed him, or what was the bacteria?
So men get back. Did he go to the doctor, Sheets?
Because if everybody said they didn't have anything and he's the only one with something, I just don't feel like could be 100% correct. I'm not sure. That's why I did ask, because it was I would just feel that one of them either has something, even though if it was transpired between them, but it was you telling me he just walked out dripping because he had sex with 3 different partners and neither one of them have any fucking thing.
But that's what we're saying. Bacteria infections does not mean you have STD.
I know.
Men can get yeast infections, and men can get and pass along bacteria infections. That's why this is the educational part. Yeah, so that can occur.
I'm asking him, what was it?
It was a bacteria infection, and I think he told me they treat it the same way they treat
chlamydia,
gonorrhea, syphilis, That's another one.
Did he have chlamydia, gonorrhea?
That's what I'm saying.
He
did. So he gave you he gave whoever antibiotics.
Yeah.
They treated it with antibiotics, basically.
Yeah. So there's also one last thing. There's also another STI, which is a sexual transmitted infection. It's called trichomonas. And trichomonas is another type of infection that's not a bacteria, but it's a parasite. So sometimes, those are 2 different medications that people will have to use, an antibiotic to treat 2 different types of infections. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
And
Like
then
that
going
is
back to
from males, right?
going
Go ahead.
back to BV, like Kenesha said, it's not necessarily an STD. It can be caused by like Charmaine said, like washing with the wrong soap. Some women's vaginas are very sensitive, and we all have our own like ecosystem, and we all have our own bacteria. We all have our own little things going on. And as soon as somebody introduces something else to what you have going on, it can throw it off. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean, I shouldn't have said Johnny Dirty Dick, my bad, but it doesn't necessarily mean that Johnny was like, he had a dirty dick. It just means that he had something else on his body that Susie's body or whoever's body didn't agree with, and it just threw some things off. But like we said before, that's why it's important. Like if you are sleeping with multiple partners, even if we lived in this perfect world and we didn't have to worry about like the STDs and like, we still have to worry about the fact that our bodies are these delicate ecosystems that need to be respected, and everybody's bodies and fluids just don't mix. And that causes imbalances and that causes issues. It's not necessarily, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. It's not necessarily like you dirty, you nasty. It's just that we need to be respectful of one another's bodies, because our bodies are these beautiful things, but they have to be balanced. They have to be treated well. You got to love on, you got to take care of your badge.
And I would also add, for individuals, male or female, that say, hey, I elect to use protection condoms. If that's the female, you want the little circle to be hanging out the JJ, or the male condoms or whatnot, it's their prerogative. They want to protect, like Gabby said, their ecosystem. So y'all use protection, and then things will just be better. Guys, you won't have to be worried about is it okay to put my hand down here. I don't have to do the little test and smell her thigh and put your finger and do all this type of stuff.
Anyways, everybody does know.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, that is a fucking good test though. I'm nigga shit.
Which one, brother? Which one you do?
Do a little rub, you do a little rubber dub, you know what I'm saying? Like, whoo, yeah.
Jeez, which one you do? Which one? Jeez, what you do?
I need to really, really know. So I'm gonna kiss you on your stomach, and I'm gonna kiss you on your thighs, and I'm gonna slide my nose, like try to get a little whiff.
You're trying to get the air to come with it?
Yeah, I need to know. Know.
Right.
Yeah, shit.
Definitely thank y'all for having those. Go ahead, brother.
Real quick, another thing that's not really a test, but there has been times where females go in the restroom, and when they exit the restroom, if you walk in after them, if you smell an odor or a persistent lingering something, like nigga, you can smell something in the air, like smell it in the air. You like no, like hey, babe, go get ready. You walk in there, you like that's not it. It's just that's hot. It's hot.
Yeah. Well, so now if you go in after your girl and you say, baby, I smell your air, and your air is telling me that you might have a bacterial infection or a yeast infection. Let's figure this out. Hello? Yeah. That's why we're telling y'all, because women be uncomfortable to be like, babe, we can't do nothing today because I got a situation. But then you got some women who don't get discharged, that until you actually in the mix and you mixing it up, and that's why you smelling all this aroma in the air. And now it's like, well, now this smells unnormal. And then she could just possibly have a yeast infection, bacteria infection. So guys, girls, whoever, y'all need to know so you can have educated, honest, and mature conversations about these yonis. Do you hear me? Okay?
Yeah, for sure.
Brother, tell her if you smell her air, okay?
I know. I'm going to just start doing it. Just gonna bust them out, nigga, right on the spot. Like, hey, yo, see?
No. See, brother, you saying it all wrong. Not bust them out.
No, I'm
bust them out.
and I'm gonna bust you out. And then go sit your stinky ass over.
You lying.
I will say it's so interesting because I've been in a situation, as I only date women. So I've been in a situation where my partner, something was a bit off with her pH balance. And we had the type of relationship and communication to where it was like, you know what, something is a bit off with my vagina. And like, I think we should just abstain from, like, we literally had that conversation. And I think it's just important to create that space and air. Like, you don't have to like bust her out, but you want to make sure that you create that space to where if something is happening to her as her partner, she's like, you know what, something is a bit off right now with me. And I don't think that we should be, doing our thing real quick until I figure out what I can do to,
real grown up
myself. So so I think it's just about having that open and honest space so that you guys can openly communicate. So that's all I got to say on that.
Okay, awesome. What I definitely wanted to end with is because our topic today is the yoni for me. Okay, so last but not least, we're going to talk about yoni steams. And yoni steams is so I should have gotten y'all my little crate. I created my own seat, and what I do is put a crock pot with some distilled water and some herbs inside. I use lavender, rosemary leaf, and red clover. I let that simmer for about 10 minutes. So it's like kind of like steeping. And then I'll sit on a little cushion and I'll put something over me so all the steam is navigating up to the nice yoni. You hear me? Okay. So I sit there about 30 to 45 minutes. And I tend to do this about once a month. And I'm going to go ahead and go over to my sis Tiffany because she has some awesome nuggets about yoni steaming.
And out of my room.
Kicking the kids out.
Yeah. Before you start talking about the yoni,
right. So about the yoni. Okay. So steaming, and I do have this egg in my hand. I'm going to talk about in a second. But the way that you steam was sitting on the crock pot, right? And you brew your own sachet, right?
Yeah, well, I sit on actual, I have created a crate, put the cushion, and so the crock pot is under it. Yeah.
Okay. This is another cute little hefty item. I don't know if you've seen the facial steamers.
Yes,
You can use these too. They're on Amazon. They're only like $30.
Okay.
You can use these too. You just plug them up. You put the water in here. You plug them up, the steam comes out. Obviously, you would sit it somewhere like, I'm sitting in a chair that goes a little higher. So, I can have that stirrup situation I can create for myself and steam.
Okay. So wait, quick question. So with that, you're sitting in a chair. Are you facing the little thing and you having it like, okay, I have it.
My legs are covered because you want the steam to be in there. So, right. You don't want it to just escape and just be blowing and just, that's not what we want.
And how far, because I'm sure other people are thinking it, how far is that little nozzle from your actual yoni? That it's not like
it's about 2 feet.
Close, huh?
About 2 feet.
Okay.
A foot or two. Yeah.
So like
you say, like if you put your legs up, I have a dress on so I could show you. So if you put your legs up like this, it's just literally about right there.
Okay.
I'll be trying to make it
not directly Kenesha. On there because you're not gonna be able to put it no closer because you're gonna burn yourself. So it's gotta be kind of. But if your legs are up and if you're covered, so everything stays in there, then
right.
Perfect.
Now what do the steam do? Is it just because it's only steam on the outside? That's not a penetration.
No,
of steam.
your legs are right. Okay, so. That's what it's for. It's kind of like everything that's up must come down. And so it kind of gives it that extra pore cleansing detox. from all that moisture being trapped 24/7. So because it's consistently moist in that area, so it kind of is like a facial for the vagina.
Oh, okay, got it.
Like a steam facial, like a pore opener.
So is it like the steam kind of just hitting it? It just kind of brings out anything
it's like
else
sitting
inside
in a
of
sauna.
you?
It's like a sauna for the vagina, or a steam room. You know how when you sit in a steam room in a sauna after you work out, you're detoxing, everything's coming out your pores. Yeah. It's just focusing in that area in a gentle way. And it kind of like helps balance things out too.
Okay. What are you adding in your water?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just water. Spring water or distilled water. Yeah.
Yeah, distilled. I'd use distilled.
Mm-hmm.
Any ladies? I think Gabby, were you about to say something?
No, I was just telling you try not to be nasty with it. Talking about how close are we supposed to bring it?
Well, because listen, I don't need nobody trying to scoot to the edge of their seat now. But listen, no, because I've never seen anyone do it that way. So I wanted to make sure for the audience that they understand, don't be this close, because a steam, it is going to, girl, you're going to have a steam fried, dried, and
it's going to tell you.
Not fried and dried.
Yeah.
Okay, so look. And so then I have yoni eggs. I'm not sure if you've heard of them.
Yes.
So they come in different sizes, like large, medium, small, different sizes. And what these do, or what they can do, is help strengthen the pelvic floor or your vaginal muscles. And you can kind of insert it up in there and just kind of do your Kegels and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and just kind of do it throughout the day. And or whatever you're comfortable with, have your little sessions, and then you pop it out and go about your business. And then when it's time and you're just killing shit, and then it's just amazing because you've been doing.
So I know earlier you did share that you've had a hysterectomy, and using the yoni eggs also with the yoni steam. Do you feel like this is helpful for you, or also for other women that experience this?
I feel like it's helpful, but it's more of like just realizing and understanding that when your body has to go under traumatic change due to surgical procedures, if you want to feel good about yourself, then you should do what you feel, whatever that is, because you're not the same. And it's not that you're like any less, but as a woman, when you no longer have the ability to have children, and they're just, your body's changing, you just start to feel some type of way. So when you find something that's natural, that works, that can help you, feel like you're not as different as you thought, and that, everything is fine, it's all in your head, you're good, but you're doing these things because you realize it's necessary for you and it works for you. You know what I mean? And it's just accepting that that's okay. If that's what works for you. It's okay because some people think yoni eggs are they're like, ugh. Or some people think that they're weird, or some people think, everybody has their mixed views. But if you're just not about that life, if you don't get it, then it's not for you, and that's cool, and that's okay. But no one should feel ashamed to have to, feel like they want to try something that could work for them. Like, you should own that, and you should do that.
Yo, sis,
go ahead.
What's up?
So is that not would you think that there's an average time to help build that muscle, when you're doing it, from starting from beginning, for just say for a beginner, what would be your suggestions for a beginner person who just might want to
minutes a day? I would just say try doing it for small increments, 5 minutes.
Is that
you gotta find your
Is that including just one of them, or do you have to do two, or is it
No, you only insert one egg.
Okay.
You don't want the multiples. You don't want the problem. Just one egg, whatever desired size, and then that's when you would do a Kegel, or a woman does a Kegel. You just like Kegel, monkey grip it, just Kegel that. Make just do the grip, it up until you feel like what you can tolerate. Only every woman knows what that is. I don't really have a specific number because everyone's pelvis is different.
Yeah.
Right. So
I would just recommend that you don't do it for more than 5 minutes if it is your first time. I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is something that actually strengthens between doing the yoni egg and the yoni steams?
The steam is known to kind of make things a little tighter around the outside. It's known to kind of shrink things. So the steam is known for that, making the pores very tight and tiny, just like a facial. Like if you have them, steaming your face, it's the same thing happening just in that one central area, just focused on that. So that is, it does help with that, tighten up elasticity, and the eggs help strengthen the pelvic floor for sure. There are women that have tilted uteruses. There are women that have areas of the vagina that have walls that have collapsed and things like that. These are real conditions that happen to women due to age or just trauma or any type of thing like that. And when it happens, they feel some type of way and they feel like, what should I do? Well, these yoni eggs are a great natural, cool way, that's not really that's a harmless way to strengthen.
So are you selling some of these yoni eggs? Because I know you do crystals, you make your bracelets. So where can we get some of these eggs?
On Etsy, Queen T OG, Queen T Original. It's my Etsy shop. And yes, I have all different size yoni eggs. They're amethyst and they're reasonably priced. And you just gotta pick your size. And then they come with a cute little stand. Keep it on. So
I need to stand for an egg.
I was about to say,
I'm gonna ship you one, sis. I got you. What you say, bro? What did you?
No, because I'm about to get one too for sure. You know what I'm saying? I can put that to use.
You, bro. I got you.
To some pussy too. So anyway, but like I can see that counter baby egg. Don't touch my egg now.
Now there is with the eggs though. I want to let everyone know that you take care of your egg the way you take care of your own yoni. Okay, yeah. So that's the hygiene. Keep it the same. Keep it clean because you don't want to cause any pH imbalances because you left your egg on the bathroom counter and let dust collect on it and whatever else you sprayed in your bathroom and then you shoved it up there and now it's tripping. Because you got to keep it clean.
That's good. That's great advice. Well, definitely if anybody needs some yoni pots and you need a cushion, I can make some for y'all. You hear me?
Hey, nice. I need that. You know what? I really need you to build me one. You said you built yours.
Yeah, yes. Start making. You better start making them. Better do it now.
Yes, I have it. I don't want to leave off camera to go get it, but yes, I made my own.
Yeah, but I was about to say, don't talk about it too much. We live.
Live. It's cool. So that was what I wanted to share about our yonis, y'all. Does anyone have their last 2 cents? Any questions before we head on out of here?
I was still trying to talk about that orgasm shit, but whatever. We talk about it next time.
Yeah, we're not about to talk about the climaxing and all that good stuff on this episode of Pillow Talk. You hear me?
Can we do a pillow talk after dark?
Yeah, that would be good. Now, listen,
you gonna be to be after dark. It's just that's not the topic. That's all.
Listen, no, I think I might have to do a pillow talk after dark for my brother.
Come on now. Come on now.
Brother, I got you. I'm gonna have to find some people, a sex therapist and all that good stuff that's ready to give some advice. Because that's a huge topic.
Pillow dirty talk.
Okay. Hey. Listen. Well, thank y'all for coming on, taking the time out of your days. Definitely, I feel like we've all been educated on this episode of Pillow Talk. Okay. Because it's the yoni for all of us, you know. We want to know that our personal yonis is healthy, and I'm sure, fellas, you want to make sure that your ladies' yonis are healthy, right?
Right.
All right, but before I go out of here, I didn't even show y'all. I didn't model for y'all today. Y'all see my scarf? You know what I'm saying? I hit him with the Target, got me going. Hold on.
Got me going.
All right now.
Okay.
You looking
Target
real
is
ready
gonna be
for
right
bed,
with the
sis.
jammies.
Real ready for bed, sis.
Right. All right. So make sure y'all follow me on IG and make sure you tune in next week here on Pillow Talk Wednesday, 6:30 Pacific Standard Talk. Talk. Ooh, child. 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. Okay. Pillow Talk is where real and intimate conversations take place. I am your girl, Kay Carter.